And it is Jike Mayson coming to you from the eye of the storm. This time I'm not saying that just to be facetious. I happen to live in the affected area. And as I'm going through this experience of uncertainty, that's what it is, I am trying to, kind of get in tune with what am I feeling emotional. And I noticed something. Every time a new model or shift happens, what ends up happening emotionally? I say, oh, does it come south or does it go north? And it's like we're on this emotional yo-yo going back and forth. So I want to try to look at this and kind of look at it through the eyes of fear. And how programmed are we all to this fear? And really, what are we fearing? Well, of course, I'm going to say it. This may be the last night I'm able to do a podcast. That's the fear, guys. Along with losing property and all of these things, but it is fear. So let's get into this and let's see what we can pick out here.
Again, for tuning in, everybody, a lot of questions about storm surge, and I understand that. So what we're going to do right now, we are going to take a look at, it is a product from the National Hurricane Center. It's called a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, they're real trustworthy, folks.
Inundation map, and it takes the storm surge, factors in some elevation, and then the leftover amount is how much you could see above ground level.
Does that make any damn sense? Come on. Oh, God.
And that would be primarily as we hit high tide. So
as we hit high tide. So all of these coordinates are put into what kind of computer? Is it AI? What is it?
That said, 9 times out of 10, it won't reach this maximum.
Then why are you telling your audience that? You're doing something to them that you should not be doing, and that's instilling more fear. So worst case scenario, oh my God, I heard it on this. Ugh. Why do you bring this out? We all know the risks. We all do. We know that the storm is on its way. And none of you guys can tell us where the hell it's going. None of you. Yeah, I said it. None of you can. All you do is instill fear. Let's go on.
But there always is that chance. 1 out of 10 times, it could happen.
It could happen. Why are you bringing this up right now? Unreal. I mean, just 9 times. You heard what he said. Folks, we all know this subconsciously about the media. They do this. They do it in snowstorms. They do it everywhere. Where's the threshold between informing the public, which is their obligation to us per their FCC license, and instilling excessive fear? Where's that threshold? We need to start asking these questions.
So the National Hurricane Center releases this to give you a heads up. And in all actuality...
No, they don't. They give you a heads up for what? None of you guys can predict any of this stuff. I'm sorry. Yep, I said it a second time.
A good amount of this will verify. A good amount of this will verify.
Yeah? How? You just said it's not going to 9 times out of 10, it ain't going to happen. So are you saying it is going to happen this time? And then it'll be verified?
So let's zoom on in, and I'm going to be right here at the desktop kind of toggling this. I want to start in Englewood, and I will do my very best to hit every single neighborhood, so that way you all feel represented.
No, that's because we are all subconsciously saying, is it near me? That's what I thought when I first watched this, subconsciously. That's why they're doing it.
Minnesota Key, Grove City, you can see Rotunda, as well as South Gulf Coast.
Remember, guys, this is not real. It's a model. Okay, keep that in mind. It hasn't occurred in real life. It's a model. That's all it is.
Cape Hayes, look at the legend. Yep. The blue is 1 to 3 above ground level, the yellow 3 to 6, the orange 6 to 9.
Ground level. Thought it was sea level. Am I wrong?
9, and then the red 9 feet plus.
All right.
So why do we have the difference here between the southern half of Rotunda and towards 776 right here? Why are they not going to have 9? Elevation. You got to factor that in, and it chips away at the amount that you will see.
What does that mean? Aren't there other variables that go into this? Other factors that go into this mix? What? I'm asking, does this make any friggin' sense? Or am I having a pre-hurricane breakdown? I'm asking.
So they're low, they're flat, and they see a good amount of water, especially towards the Gulf, but they're higher, and that's why they are not expecting as...
We all know that. Anybody that ever took third grade geology would know this. Why do you have to say this? We know it. It's jibber jabber. Who doesn't know that? But there again, there are other variables that are going into the mix here.
As much to points closer towards the Gulf. So that's where you see the difference. Let's take you towards El Jobin, the Mayaca River.
Does this make any friggin' sense? Come on. This whole area is on water. This area is this little dot. What? Oh, God. That tells us one thing. They've been doing a whole heck of a lot of studying on this here geography here to get all this data. Am I wrong? What's going on?
As the water would get pushed up, notice how in this worst case scenario,
yes, you said that once, worst case scenario.
It stops just south of Murdoch, but Port Charlotte, zones A and B, we have the evacuations. With Punta Gorda.
We know all that. That makes sense. If you're in flood zone A, B, whatever it is, we would know that. But why are you bringing this graphic to us, this presentation that's a model? Why? Has it ever been tested? How has it been tested?
Let's take you actually real quick. I want to go all the way into even areas of DeSoto County. The water gets up the Peace River. And I do expect storm surge flooding for areas of southwestern DeSoto County. Let's zoom on in to Harbor Heights in Cleveland. Get a real good look at this graphic. There's your legend. There's the colors.
A graphic. Notice what he said. Graphic. Okay? It's a model. It hasn't happened yet. It's a worst case scenario. Won't happen 9 times out of 10.
And this is why we're just urging you
showing it
so much. We went through the flooding with Helene. This one could be equivalent or even worse.
What are you talking about? None of the, I mean, I know that we had flooding, but what about Ian? What about that? Again, you guys had it wrong. Maybe you knew all along where that joker was heading.
According to the forecast, Punta Gorda, Charlotte Park. Let's keep going down the coast. I'll move the camera for you.
Where am I at?
Seminole Lakes. And
come on.
That drastic change is the
get
elevation.
To my house.
The storm surge forecast can't get above those levels, and then
we
it stops.
know that. You just said that.
So that's where you can see the difference.
Okay.
I would like to spread some love here to Boca Grande and all the way towards Placida.
Yeah.
You can see the various colors and the expected.
And they did get inundated. Okay. I mean, you know what the destruction Ian did was really, really I can't even put into words, but I want to pay attention to the way that they work this up again, fear-based wise. And then, I mean, as we're going through this, ask yourself, what am I fearing? Am I fearing maybe I'll die? Maybe I'll, lose everything? And a lady told me the other day that recently went through Hurricane Milton up north. And she said, I was a little worried. And I asked, were you afraid? And she said, no, not really. I mean, things would, jump me. But then I'd get back to center. And I said, what was that center? She said, I have a real strong belief in God and a higher power. And I know two things. Number one, I've done a lot of good in this life. I've helped a lot of people. And the other thing is that I need to trust God. I need to trust. And all of this fear in this world, I've really realized something myself. And that is, we're all programmed with this fear via the media. Via the media. We are watching it right in front of us, right here. And I'm not doing this to, pick on or anything about this weather dude, okay? He's doing his job. But I'm trying to be critical about this on a deeper level that we all feel inside. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I have been struggling with the yo-yo that I've been going through. And I'm going to point, let's go on here a little bit more.
Inundation. Take you to Pirate Harbor, Burnt Store Marina.
Yep.
Right along Burnt Store Road. Look at the contrast in Cape Coral, and that's the change in elevation.
Where am I? Oh, get out of the way.
There's Burnt Store Road, Tropicana.
Yeah.
I'm about to get Pine Island Road into view here.
Let's see, where am I?
Find where you live. There's Trafalgar Elementary for a pinpoint reference. Matt Lachey, Pine Island Center. Let me zoom out. Show Bokelia, and right along Stringfellow Road.
Mess me up.
St. James City, who had a lot of flooding during Ian.
Yep.
So did Sanibel, the Causeway.
Yep.
Water getting pushed up the Caloosahatchee. Let's zoom on in again, nice and tight, to Iona.
Yep.
All the way towards Cape, Southeast Cape, 4 Mile Cove.
You can see, I used to live in there. I used to own a place there years ago. I'm not going to tell you where. So look me up. Maybe if you're weird.
Gregor and Whiskey Creek, but then look at the difference for Page Field.
Yeah, look at that.
They are not expecting it. But as you head
expecting it. Notice what his words are. He's using those words in present tense. Remember, it's a model 9 times out of 10, worst case scenario. Why did he say it that way? Think about this deeper.
Closer to McGregor, up and down, towards the Edison Ford Winter Estates, downtown Fort Myers, Tice.
Yeah.
The Lee Civic Center, Fort Myers Shores. I remember I was traveling home during Helene. They even had some inundation all the way here, and water can get pushed up.
Inundation. I don't like that word. For some reason.
At far inland, 20 to 25 miles away from the Gulf.
Does this make any damn sense? Again, look, it's really what it is the closer to the river you are, which you're going to have this storm. So we know this. Why are they showing this video study?
You could see some of that creeping in towards Buckingham.
Creeping.
Then as we
creeping in. Oh. Late at night.
Take you to, obviously, Fort Myers Beach and extending towards US 41. And I'm going here nice and slow so you can take a good look. And notice how there's really not much east of the interstate.
You're going nice and slow so I can try to find my house. I know.
Take it to Bonita Springs. There's the Imperial River. You can't miss it, as that would have a waterway for that surge to travel. Bonita Beach, Barefoot Beach. Take it to Wiggins Pass and North Naples. Again, for a reference, the blue is 1 to 3 feet. The yellow is 3 to 6. The orange is 6 to 9. The red is 9.
How much airtime are they spending on this graphic? Huh? Why are they showing it to you? And I'm not saying this about this station, or as I don't know any of them. All of them do the same doggone stuff. I once lived below a TV meteorologist who shared with me a lot of information, which back in the day, I didn't believe. I didn't believe in sometimes there's manipulation with this weather. That's been documented. And how the media is tied into getting a reaction. And they do this on every single thing. We do this on politics, world events, but then again, you have to ask yourself, why? What feeling comes up for me when I hear this stuff? It's fear. Where does that fear come from, and what are we fearing? Death? Maybe. Why do we allow ourselves to be so manipulated? Why are we not grounded enough to be able to take in the information, process it? We all know the risks. I've lived through every hurricane here. And I have seen the destruction. Friends and family have lost things in these things. And I'm not doing this to downplay, of course, any of that. I'm trying to point out something. And that is how fear manipulates us. And the media and what they do. Remember, he told you 9 times out of 10, this is not going to happen. Then why show it? I go back to COVID. The only thing that caused that to go as much as it did is they did not do one critical thing. And that is tell you the actual survival numbers. They only told you who died. Wouldn't they want to give you those survival numbers to give you hope? Think on a deeper level here. And doing this show actually tonight has been a lot of therapy for me, and I feel so much because I'm going to be, as I said, I'm examining what I'm going through emotionally as I'm going through it. So hopefully this comes out and it makes sense to somebody or resonates with somebody. But anyway, I'm Jike Mayson. I'm losing myself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.